Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have the Cheetah Girls. Yeah, this is the first in the trilogy in the saga of the Cheetah Girls, of which Raven-Symone does not appear technically in the third one. I think I remember when we saw that one, the One World one. They go international, and I guess she has to stay home, and she does a Skype. I don't know. I can't remember. But all I know is this introduces the Cheetah Girls to us. And as I said, Raven-Symone is kind of the lead actress in this. She's most well known, obviously. She's had her own series of Disney shows over the years, before and after this, I think. And also, she was a little tiny new kid in the family on The Cosby Show way back when, before Cosby Show was not a show that you can put in syndication anymore. Yeah. So, yeah, she's not getting residuals from that, from what I can tell, unless it's foreign and they don't know what's going on with Bill Cosby. I don't know. Either way, but let's not talk about Bill Cosby. This is Raven-Symone, Adrian Houghton, Keely Williams, and Sabrina Bryan. They are the Cheetah Girls, and this is basically your standard. You want to be a pop girl group in the early 2000s. This is from 2003. It's an hour and 34 minutes long. It's your usual coming of age drama, teen thing, musical. It's not so much a musical because there's nobody just breaking out into song over coffee or lost love or whatever, just randomly. It's all, they're usually, whenever they hear them singing, they're actually performing for an audience or practicing or whatever it is, for somebody who's there. And it's supposed to be. So it's set in reality. It's not set in a way where singing solves all the problems, or at least expresses their innermost emotions that words cannot express, which is the purpose of musicals. So she this is not a great movie. But it's, hey, you know what? If I was a 7-year-old girl on a sleepover, this and I just love to dance around with my friends, I would think these girls are the coolest and prettiest girls in the world. This is not made for me. I am not the audience. I am not the target audience, nor was I ever, and nor should I ever be the target audience for the Cheetah Girls. So that said, yeah, it's not. It's good for that audience. There you go. It's that good for that audience. For me, yeah, no, it's not good. It's not good at all. It's fairly cliche. It runs through all the tropes, and I think the actresses who are doing this kind of know that now. I mean, they probably knew it then too. But hey, you get to be in a Disney Channel movie. Come on, it's not a small thing, and it's still. By the way, this is old enough that it's not in high definition. It's still that 4:3 aspect ratio from old TVs. You watch this on a CRT, not a flat screen. That's how old this still looks and how it's still edited and filmed. This is, you know, let me see if I can get through this. Raven-Symone and the rest of the girls, is this just out of whack? I feel like I'm just angled a little bit. Okay, there we go. That's not much better. We gotta tilt it back. Okay, hey, you know what? No editing ever. These are all clean. You're so welcome. So the girls are just best friends. At least two of them are super rich, I guess, and they have one over attentive mom, one absentee mom, uh, dads that aren't either in the picture at all or are trying to. I don't know. They're there, but they don't really serve much of a purpose except to show that everybody's multicultural. It's a multicultural mishmash, and it's great. It's wonderful. It's what it is. But Dad has a heavy accent for Raven-Symone's dad. I don't know. I don't know. It's just at first I thought he was like the cliche gay hairstylist, like because in order to put a gay person into movies back in the day, you gave them an accent and make them. That's the reason why they're swishy. So yeah, and so they're foreign. Well, that's why they're a little bit strange and eccentric. Yeah, that's the way it was. And in some degrees, might still be. But either way, that's not about the parents, it's about the girls. And of course, they are their own worst enemies. While as talented as they are, they're doing children's birthday parties, and everything goes smoothly when we first meet them at the very beginning. They're doing it at little kid's birthday party, and eventually they end up tripping over themselves in the during their choreography and fall flat in their faces. And they're not great yet, but they have promise. And for some reason, a record executive who's like the biggest name in the world, he's so important. He's a producer, whatever. He makes nobody's into somebody's. Jack something or other. I can't even find his name here anymore. Uh, he's so far down the line. Jackal Johnson, played by Vince Carrazza. He's he's all ego and style with no substance, and he's woos the girls into making a demo with him, and it says them all the things that tells them all the things they want to hear. And Mom, the Raven's mom, I gotta say Raven's character's name, which is Galleria. Uh, Galleria, her mom is super. She was in the business before. She knows how to get the lawyers involved and contracts and all this other stuff. She's a helicopter mom in this sense, and much to Galleria's embarrassment. While her best friend, who's played by Adrienne Houghton, her name's Chanel. That's how you know they're rich. Galleria and Chanel, places where their moms shopped. So they're best friends. They kind of started the group in a sense, and Chanel is all about trying to get her mom's attention. Mom wants to move away, and they all have their own individual dramas. Keely or Kylie, I want to say Keely, Kiely Williams. She's afraid to go on subways, and she's in New York. I can't remember if she had any deeper storyline than that. Like, I don't think any parents showed up to mess with her throughout this. And the fourth girl, by the way, Keely plays Aqua. And the fourth girl, Dorinda, played by Sabrina Bryan, she has an embarrassing secret. She is a foster child. She's not one of the rich girls. She, as far as anybody knows, she lives at this high rise on the Upper East or Upper West side. I'm not sure which. When one of the girls goes to visit, turns out, oh no, it's not her. She doesn't live in the building. She lives around back down the alleyway where the supervisor lives, and it just happens to be her foster mom. I've just given away a big spoiler. Sorry for those of you who are watching this to see if this is what you wanted to watch and we're really afraid of 19-year-old spoilers. Yeah. Well, I just did it for you. Sorry. Anyway, they all have their own drama. They all have their own conflicts, and it's push and pull. Mom's too attentive. Mom's not attentive. Mom's not rich. Moms don't exist as a storyline. I don't know. It's whatever happens. They're girls that stick together until they don't. So once they get the offer for the record deal, Raven, or Galleria, gets all full of herself. She's the one who writes the songs, and she's the one who's the face of the group, and she's blah, blah, blah. They all end up hating her, and it's understandable. She's a jerk, pretty much. She gets it all. She's all up in her head, and she tries to be Miss Perfect and tries to make everybody else perfect, according to her standards. So it creates conflict, and you expected that. If you didn't have conflict within the group, why are you watching this movie? Because they have to grow from somewhere. And yeah, so eventually, they're all going to break up because each of them have different things. Dorinda, she's a talented dancer. And she has a chance to go on a tour with a dancing group because she can. And Galleria kind of has this in her head that she's the meal ticket for this group, and they should all fall in line. Otherwise, what's the point? And so yeah, they all kind of go their separate ways at one point. Which again, I'm not really spoiling that for you. You know that's going to happen. That's what happens in every single one of these rise to fame stories because the characters become their own worst enemies. They work against themselves. And yes, there's comedy involved in this. There's no denying that Raven has charisma. She's always had charisma, and she's always got that, that shocked face. She has a Disney kind of, I think, instills in every one of their actresses and actors. But they, thankfully, she didn't go at some point. I think they leave that for the sitcoms. But the story is usually broken up every so often with a song and dance number that, yeah, it's pop songs. It's everybody wanted to be Britney and Christina back then, or Brit Christina, something like that. I mean, the next generation of Disney Mickey Mouse Club girls, basically without the Mickey Mouse Club. Surely Disney had their hands on the biggest stars of the early 2000s, and they grew up and they did it again on their own. And this is their way, I guess, of doing that with these girls. But the Cheetah Girls were never going to become a real pop group. They just played one in a movie series. But yeah, I mean, each of the women are talented. Young women are talented, but the songs are pretty. One song is literally called "Girl Power," and by the way, that's the song they performed. They wrote specifically for the producer during their recording session, and the producer turns around and says, "Here, we're going to make you all put on animal masks and then do this crappy song," which wasn't too much worse than Girl Power. Girl Power had a lot more pizzazz and I guess a deeper message, but all around the world or something like that about animals, endangered animals. The marketing team came in, and you know that the second there's two people just shouting buzzwords at children, you know that it's going to go bad from there. It's just the way it is. Kids with dreams, marketing team. It's just, that's how it happens. So yeah, I've told you the entire movie. Of course, they all come together, and I'm going to tell you how they all come together again. Somehow, they all happen to be wearing coordinating outfits that day, in different colors. But all, like somehow, on the day of the talent show, by the way, that they had to drop out of because they thought they were going to get a record deal, and then they broke up, and so they couldn't be in it. But the hot boy saw Galleria playing piano. By the way, the hot boy that was made in a lab of what's his name? The Joker. Why can't I remember his name? Oh, I'm getting so old. Did you see the bald spot? No. Okay. I had his name, and I. Oh my God. Yeah, anyway, 10 Things I Hate About You, the Joker, and the Christian Bale Batman Dark Knight movie. I'm going to say it out of nowhere in the middle of another sentence really soon. He looked like he was cloned from him. And yeah. He sits there. He's their rival, but he's always like sort of flirting with Galleria and yet talking smack about her at the same time. And then he sees her playing a song on a piano and says, "Oh, you've got depth, and I really like what you're doing here, and that's cool." And okay, so it's the closest thing we get to a romance that doesn't really pan out at all, but it shows that there's a connection. Okay, all right, sure. Um, Heath Ledger. Come on, Heath Ledger. And you were saying that the entire time you were watching this. You're like screaming Heath Ledger at me. All two of you. So yeah, Heath Ledger. He looks like a little Heath Ledger clone, but it's a little bit more blonde. And yeah. Anyway, the girls break up. The talent show goes on. they don't take the deal from the producer, and because it's just embarrassing the kind of thing they offered he offered them. It just was garbage. They all go their separate ways. They're not even friends anymore. And this is all over the course of a few days, probably not even a few hours. And they're all really sad about it in their own way. And the talent show goes on, and dang it, pretty Heath Ledger boy, him and his buddy perform their song, which they were like, "Oh, we're gonna beat you in the talent show against Galleria against Cheetah Girls." They come out and they do a hip hop song, and yes, it's the Heath Ledger guys doing all the hip hop rap music, while his black friend is doing the DJ stuff. And all the really weird scattershot, blurry, shifting, editing, camera work makes it super hip hop. It's so, oh my gosh! I had to hold back my vomit, not because it was making me sick. It's just because it was bad. It was bad. It's not that he was a bad rapper. It's just the concept of all of that was, you expected them to come out and do like a rock song or whatever it is, okay, maybe I'm racist I'm expecting the white guy to not be rapping. He shouldn't be rapping. It's like grandma's rapping. When Heath Ledger comes out and raps, his clone. No. Anyway, I can't keep going on with this. You have to see it to believe it, really. But this is the big clincher, and I'm going to ruin this for you, but you still have to watch it to fully understand what I'm describing to you, because what I'm going to tell you is not going to be enough. At one point, Galleria is toward the very end, is walking her dog along the street, still upset about everything, and she sees a sign in the window of the girls in their animal masks, produced by Jackhole, whatever his name is, and Jackal. Oh my gosh, Jackhole. That's what they did on purpose. She thinks that the girls took the deal without her, and they just replaced her. She gets very upset. She lets loose the leash on Toto. Yes, the dog's name is Toto, and yes, there's a Wizard of Oz joke that's made more than once. Toto's not in Kansas anymore because guess what? Toto falls down a hole in the street in New York City, which leads to Galleria standing in the middle of the street in construction. By the way, it's construction, so there was already snarled traffic. Like, it's New York around construction. It's not going to be good in the first place. But suddenly, because Galleria is upset and has called a cop that's just happened to be nearby after she made him spill his coffee on him when she ran after the dog, he yells an all points bulletin to get all the police and fire and all the service people. It's like 9/11 all over again. They bring everybody down to this dog hole. It's a dog hole now. It's the new 9/11, and they're all piling into this news. People are just pushing against barriers trying to get a look at the poor dog. There's like weird camera work where they're like, I can see the dog, I think he's still alive. It's like the entire city grinds to a halt. There's news people. That's where the news guy comes in, and he starts doing dang Toto's not in Kansas anymore kind of jokes. And eventually everybody sees this. Like, somehow they had to cut the power and to get to the dog so that it was easier to get to the dog, and then the power comes back on, and the feed on the video screen during the performance, the talent show, brings up a feed of Galleria talking to a camera, like at the media, going, my dog's trapped, and it made everybody sympathetic, and they had made him stop the talent show, and everybody comes running into the street with everybody else, along with Heath Ledger clone. And all of her friends start randomly showing up bypassing all sorts of security and police. Everybody else can't get past the barriers, and the cops holding everybody back because a dog is in a hole. But all her friends show up, and they're like, "Oh, we're not here for you, Galleria. You're a jerk. We're here for the dog. We're here for Toto." Again, the dog eventually gets. Oh yeah, I forgot. The dog gets free, of course, because they're together. And you know how the dog gets free? They sing to it. They sing to the dog. The dog likes when they sing. And so their singing saves the dog. They're the Cheetah Girls. So, so anyway, the dog gets out, and everybody cheers, and of course everybody's happy, and they're like, "Oh, we're back together, we're best friends again," and all of our suits coordinate, and Heath Ledger somehow, somewhere, out of nowhere, finds a big, like a red guitar and just just like wails away the guitar. Where was that thing during your act in the talent show? Because you're pretty good at that. Make at least the whammy bar, whatever. You have an idea of how to play that, but why weren't you playing that earlier? But of course, and then out of nowhere, more music kicks in, and the girls just step into line, and they start doing their choreographed song that we've never heard before, and I don't think they ever have before. And I don't think it's girl power. I don't think it was girl power. Thank God. But it's a song that basically talks. I am sure it talks about their friendships and overcoming adversity, and friends forever, and no scrubs or something. I don't know. But it's so like, and then the editing comes in. Like, who are they singing to? They're like singing to a camera that's above them. But there's no. If this was real life and they're singing to performing in front of an audience, this crowd of people who've, and by the way, it's night has fallen at this point, and all the lighting is perfect. They're dancing around construction holes and barriers, and apparently cops have no problem with this because the dog is free now. Nobody's going to fall into a hole because, we saw at the very beginning of the movie, these girls trip over each other at a kid's birthday party. So when they're doing their dancing and twirling and whatever, they're not going to fall into a hole. That's what I would have liked to see. That's an ending I would have liked to see. They would all fall into a hole, and the dog would have to sing to them to get out. That's a twist. I am M. Night Shyamalan. So, anyway, okay. That's all I can really say about that. And I got to make sure as I'm talking here that everything is set up for when I pick the next thing. Yeah, okay, good. Yeah, all right. So yeah, that's what happened. They did a big song and dance number in the street. By the way, it's snarled traffic. It's on the news, and because they performed this, somebody positioned the camera in a way, or multiple cameras in a way, and then edited together live. Like, I've seen news reporting in any city, even New York, and nobody cuts live multiple angles with that kind of precision. I realize this is a fantasy for little kids. Yes, it's not based in reality, and that's not how things work, but even some little 7-year-old's going to go, this is some kind of BS. Come on. Either way, they sing and dance. They're all best friends. And of course, you cut away to Jack Hole, and he's like, "Oh man, I made a mistake." Or his executive buddies, marketing people, are like, "Yeah, you screwed up, Jack Hole. You should have signed them when you had a chance." Nothing really comes of it. They're just best friends again, and they're all drinking juice. And I think after the whole performance, they're back in the school, and foster mom shows up, and the girl's not ashamed of having a foster mom anymore, and everybody kind of reconciles with their moms for whatever reason they were having problems with their moms. Keely knows how to ride the subway now. and no matter the fact that they had dropped out of the talent show, they end up winning. So all is well. It's an hour and a half of my life I'm never getting back. So this is on you, Disney Plus, or random machine number picker. Speaking of which, yeah, do I recommend this? Only if you want to see the things I just described to you in painful detail. If you can make a drinking game out of it, if you're old enough, do so. Maybe every time a dated reference pops up on screen, you'll be wasted. Let's pick tomorrow's episode.
310.
310. God, I hope I was recording this whole thing. That'd be embarrassing to have to do all this again. 310. Oh, okay. Alright, it's a movie. And we've seen this before. We've seen this character before in other movies. In, I guess, a series as well. This is a Disney-acquired property, I believe. I don't think Disney creates this. But Disney distributes it in the United States because this is a French-based series of movies. This is Miraculous World, Shanghai, The Legend of Lady Dragon. So Ladybug is going up against Lady Dragon. So Miraculous World, Shanghai, The Legend of Lady Dragon is what's up next on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. And I do not wish this upon you, but I shouldn't be the only one. So check out Cheetah Girls. Legend of Lady Dragon tomorrow. Miraculous World. We'll see you back here tomorrow on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge.